Thanks to Valve, Steam, and its generous discount and sales, buying PC games has never been more up to date, more available, or cheaper than ever before. As a result, libraries across the platform have accumulated more and more games, to the point that most of us have more games than we might ever play. As an experiment, I decided to make a list of all my current Steam titles, put them from a random number generator, play that chosen title for as long as necessary, and finally create a short and concise video review. If you have any of these titles in your library, or are interested in giving them a try, then make yourself comfortable. I'm GAMESD, and it's full steam ahead. It's fortunate again that, for the second time so far, I've landed on a game that I've already dedicated quite a lot of time to. One of the most played games in my Steam library, one of my favourite games from last year, and perhaps one of my favourite games period. Well, where do I begin describing how much I adore XCOM 2? I was never a fan of the previous games in the series, or turn-based games on the PC, though I've always loved the Advance Wars, Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy Tactics series of games, for taking the macro management and detail-orientated gameplay of these titles and turning them into streamlined and slick puzzle games. It's probably no surprise then that the original and second game in this rebooted series ticked all my boxes, for its turn-based abstraction of third-person cover shooting matched with a bigger yet accessible base management system, all which are presented in a simple to understand manner. A follow-up to Firaxis' XCOM Enemy Unknown, XCOM 2 takes the solid foundations of this game and gives it a shining polish, and even teaches it a few new tricks. Set 20 years after the original game, the invaders have become the incumbents, and the world has been transformed into a totalitarian nightmare. The original XCOM group has been torn down from humanity's first line of defense and now stands as their last hope. You once again step into the role of the omnipresent commander, and it's up to you and the team's best and brightest to stage a worldwide resistance and destroy the aliens from the inside out. The game remains close to the design of XCOM Enemy Unknown, split between command and encounter gameplay, both which need to be successfully balanced to fight another day. The command gameplay allows you to scan the earth for threats and opportunities, manage your base building, research alien technology and build new weapons and materials, not to mention a number of other facilities to give you the tactical edge. Encounter gameplay, where the bulk of the action takes place, presents a tactical, turn-based view of the battlefield, broken into squares with environmental cover, with 2 turns per soldier to spend as you wish. You can choose to scout, shoot, or, should an enemy be ahead, go into Overwatch, perhaps XCOM's most recognisable ability that allows your soldiers to react to enemy activity out of turn. The reason all these systems work so well is in their simplicity and readability. You never have to find reference for coverage, shot success, travel distance, or the positive and negative attributes of upgrades, or the long-term effects of your plans. Not only are all these numbers front and centre, but they don't require you to balance a spreadsheet in order to understand them. Like all my favourite games, every element is small, unique and perfectly formed, and plays well with everything else. Even the enemies, who are all designed around easy to read but totally unique modes of engagement, in comparison to an army of characterless soldiers of increasing grading. In XCOM 2, a few more wrinkles have been added to both improve upon and flavour the experience further. The power dynamic has taken a turn. As the dominant force on the planet, the invaders walk in broad daylight, shed their previous disguises, and have wired the environment to scan for your whereabouts. Fortunately, your squad is better equipped for this new flavour of guerrilla warfare, a feature that permeates the entire experience. Perhaps my favourite new feature of the encounter gameplay this time round is concealment. It allows your team to slip past enemies without immediate activation, and even allows you to get the drop on them with higher hit percentages. There's no better feeling in the game than setting your team as Overwatch, letting the last squaddy take a shot on an unsuspecting soldier, and let the immediate reaction of their comrades trigger your entire squad, resulting in a perfect chain reaction that feels great every single time you do it. Classes have also seen a slight remix this time round, taking the simplification model of the rest of the game, and all feel excellent to use. You have rangers, swift, blade-using foot soldiers that can immediately move up to enemies for guaranteed damage, operators that use drones to hack into the environment as well as support and hinder both teammates and enemies respectively, snipers that can use their squad sight ability to take long shots at enemies in the eye line of your other team members, and finally grenadiers, who use explosive ordnance to destroy cover, an excellent demonstration of XCOM's destructible environment gameplay. Even command gameplay allows for more options for expression. With a mobile basic command, you're no longer stuck to a single continent. The game actively gets you to explore, scan and interact with the whole map. Timing is more of a factor this time round, though, fortunately, still along a turn-based system, with big events and even encounter gameplay that forces you to push forward in a small number of turns. A no-doubt response to the first game's tendency to let players camp for multiple turns to slowly clean up around them. This feature in particular has its fair share of defenders and attackers, but personally, I'd like its inclusion in the game, as it creates more opportunities for creative improvisation. Best of all, encounter arenas see a return to the randomly generated nature of the previous games in the franchise, not to mention the fact that the campaign doesn't play out identically every time. This means feasibly, and probably, I could play this game forever and still receive new content. Compared to the first game, the second feels much more inviting to new players of the series. As well as a multitude of difficulty options available, the game has a robust Steam Workshop integration, allowing you to tailor the game further to your tastes. The game isn't without its strange graphical and engine hiccups, though, due to the nature of the gameplay, as well as their few and far between nature, I wouldn't say that they hinder the enjoyment of the game too much. Graphics, sound and especially voice acting all do a commendable job to round out the package, striking a balance of stylized realism that gives the game grounding and character. The only small shame of the title is, despite Enemy Unknown's inclusion of it, the second dropped support for controllers in the PC version, though these are very much the main input on the console versions of XCOM 2. I'm not quite sure how to say I think that you should play XCOM 2. The title won't be to everyone's taste, either due to the turn-based and tactical nature of the gameplay, its dry presentation, or even the harsh, dice-driven probability of its difficulty. However, if you're looking for a title that is both passive to engage with, yet actively challenges you to make the right move, steeps you in a world where your decisions carry weight, or one that, when you're on a hot or a cold streak, you can't help but continue to play. As a more recent, yet not entirely graphically demanding game, your mileage may vary. Even when I was running the game in windowed mode, there was some significant slowdown in some parts. Though, due to the turn-based nature of the game, it didn't knock too much against the gameplay. There's a link to the game in the description, where you can also look at its minimum system specifications. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.